This is Spencer of the MacGuffin, and I'm with Tom Fridley.
That's correct.
You might not recognize that name off the top of your head, but he's been in a lot of films that you know of. One of your first roles was in The Karate Kid, an 80s classic, without question. What was it like working on that film, and did you have any sort of sense of what it would become when you were working on it?
You know, that's a good question. Actually, I would say no. We didn't really feel. No, we didn't see that coming at all. I just thought that it seemed like a film that would be mediocre. The movie cost, I think, $1.5 million to make it, and ended up making over $400 million. So it's a really successful film. Actually, the first thing I ever did was the pilot of Fantasy Island in '78, which was 10 years before that.
Wow.
Didn't do his research, folks. Didn't do his friggin' research.
I kind of love The Karate Kid, so that really is the cornerstone of anyone's career for me.
I got you.
You could be in Titanic, you could be the lead in Avatar, and yet still Karate Kid would be the one I would come back to. What can I say? I love it.
Wow.
I mean, and speaking for me, what did you think of when they remade it? Were you on board with that, or how do you feel about that?
I'll tell you something, honestly, I just saw it the other day for the first time. I was so touched by the scene with Jackie Chan when he was in the car and those little tiny little things came and grabbed his hands and led him out. There was something really deep about it. It was so much on a deeper emotional kind of thing. Karate Kid was more like a Rocky. It had that same kind of little guy's down, he's got no hope, and all of a sudden he was in the hole, I just could get behind it. The Karate Kid, I thought it was really pretty terrific. I thought Jackie Chan's never shown that kind of emotional kind of deal, to where it's always fun or just kicking people's butts or whatever. So, you know, to some people are like stuck on the old one and they like that because it's the thing, but to me, I thought that was like, I thought just as an actress point of view, I thought Jackie just was terrific. That's, you know.
I'm one of those people stuck on the old one, so I'll admit that right now.
You know what we do? No, I'm kidding. But I just saw it the other day. I was touched by that own scene, but I'm a highly emotional person. You just don't want to look at the emotion. I'm just teasing you.
That might be true. Maybe I'm jaded at
totally different movies. It's like they're different. You could get it hard and say, hey, look, karate didn't come from China. It came from Japan. So it's like start off with the
that's a whole other bag of words.
I got you. But I'm glad you liked the first one so much. I'm glad I had something to do with something you liked.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. After that, you know, you went on to work in as Court in Friday the 13th, Part 6.
Yes.
What was your sort of knowledge of the film series before going into it? Were you a fan of the series? Did you just take it as an opportunity?
You know what? That's a good question, too. The deal was this. I was just talking to, from the Part 3, I asked, we were sitting doing a questions and answers yesterday. I said, which one was it that was the 3D one? And it was the third one. I just remember going with this girlfriend of mine, and there was a picture where the sheets were going like this and stuff started flying. I remember going like, oh, I'm not comfortable, but it was scary as hell. And I realized that, like a lot of people here that get off on that whole adrenaline, I was like, miss me with that. I was like, I don't know. I wasn't a real big, huge horror person's fan, or like horror, you know, movie buff at all. But doing it was a lot of fun. It was great. It was kind of cold down there. We were in Savannah, Georgia. Or no, it's not Savannah, Covington, Georgia. And it was, you know, it was a blast. It was a lot of fun to do. But no, I had no idea. But that movie, shoot, I mean, did really well.
Did it change your perception of horror after working in one? Did you become a fan, or are you still sort of not?
Do you know what? I'll tell you what. I've just started to come to these conventions like 8 months ago. It's changed now. I've realized there's a whole it is a whole world that here's the thing. I feel completely out of place, but yet in place because I'm a part of it. But yeah, it's kind of going. It's like going to a let's say a high school reunion for the grade that was right above yours or below yours. So you're like, don't know anybody. You're like, but it is your school. It's one of those things.
That's a pretty funny description.
And everybody's so friendly, and they know my work better than I do. They say like, what's your favorite line? And I'm like, what was yours? And I'm like, okay, mine too. You know, it was the 80s. A lot of stuff's happening.
That's smart thinking. What was it like working on it? I mean, you obviously, you know, as you said, you had 10 years before The Karate Kid of experience as sort of like a veteran actor and sort of delving into the horror realm. What was it like working on that film?
I've done three or four horror movies. Phantom of the Mall, which is a funny story because they offered me a lot of money to do that, and I didn't pay attention. I was offered 3 films, and I thought the name of the movie was called Phantom of Them All. And then I got home, and my agent called me because you really decided to be this booby. You really want to do Phantom of the Mall? I'm like, Phantom of the Mall? He goes, they're paying you good money. He goes, I go, what the hell could that be about? Phantom of the Mall. It was like mixing like Valley Girl with death.
Oh no, you're getting ahead of me because I want to talk about that because you know that had Pauly Shore in it. What is it like working with Pauly Shore? Is he really like the weasel all the time, or is that just a
you know what? Actually, I'll tell you a story. We went to his club because his mom owns the Comedy Store, the whatever it was.
Yeah, the Comedy Store.
The Comedy Store. So we went to watch his act, And then when we went over to his apartment afterwards, he had a ton of parrots. You're trying to talk, you're like, rah, 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 rah. I'm like, Paulie, it's like, rah, rah, rah. He's like, just get over it. His apartment was like parrots everywhere. So it was like basically like going to the jungle and trying to like, have a conversation with somebody. But he's a really sweet kid. He was a really nice kid. He had kind of his career kind of like went boom and then kind of went out. But you can only run that thing. His range was pretty much, he did his comedy spiel on that. And then after that, you can't ask him to, that was pretty much where it ended. He was a brilliant comic. He did great stuff like that. But when it comes to film, you can only have so many roles that demand that kind of bizarre behavior, I guess. Don't be mad at me, Paulie.
No, I mean, Pauly Shore is one of those guys. I loved his stuff, early on. It's sort of sad to see, that's just the way the business works, and you're hot one day and you're not the next. I mean,
it happens to the best of them, and it happens to great people that do great things. You start to go downhill, and all of a sudden the better scripts are not offered to you. And then all of a sudden, once you start down that downward spiral, it just goes, and you're like, oh my God, your movies are going straight to video.
So you accidentally sign up to work on Phantom of the Mall with Pauly Shore. How did that end up playing out for you? Was it a positive experience? Like, were you happy with the final product? I mean, what was that?
When you're in a movie called Phantom of the Mall, am I happy with the final product? All I know is like, it was just another way to die. I mean, I've been hung, I've been stabbed in the head, I've been shot, I've been killed through that escalator, if you haven't seen it. The thing that was bad is when he wrote me, I fell down. If you've ever touched an escalator bottoms, they're made of solid steel and they're so rugged. They're like built to go miles forever. I hit the bottom of it, they put me, and I'm faking it with no stunts, slamming around and bouncing up that thing, acting like I was dying. By the time I got to the top of the stairs, I was so bruised up and beat up, I was like, I had to go home. I was like, all right, I'm done. I hope you got the coverage for that. And I'm finished. And that was it. I was so beat up, bruised, like somebody who just, really drugged me by a truck for a couple of days. But, it was fun. Morgan Fairchild was in it. She was actually really, really sweet, really fun lady. And the girl, oh God, what's her name? Really, Carrie Whitman, who's a playmate. She plays like the kind of the love thing for Eric. And that, but she was a doll. I don't know. It was a lot of fun. It turned out fun. I've seen it maybe once.
You've also had some really amazing roles in your career. I mean, you were in Face Off. You were in Phenomenon. Your uncle is John Travolta. What is it sort of like growing up in that sort of Hollywood royalty, so to speak? And getting to act in all these really neat projects through that.
When I was asked the question yesterday, and we're sitting there. Here's the one thing. To hold my own pride and all, that's why I left my name as Tom Fridley. I never once, on the record, ever got any help from John whatsoever. I didn't ask for it. I'm not saying he wouldn't do it. But I figured if I can't do this, I don't need to take a job from somebody else. You either can do it or you can't do it or whatever. But as far as that goes, I mean, it was amazing shit. Johnny and I are only 11 years apart, so we were like buddies when I'm the oldest of all the nephews, and he's the youngest of the uncles, so we're like the closest in age. You know what I mean? So I have cousins that are different age categories than we are. So we were really, really close for a long time. And then when he got married and had his family and stuff, then you take care of business as far as that goes. But it's just, when it became like a matter of fact thing, I wouldn't tell my friends at all. When I met somebody, my best friend James, 5 years after I'd known him, John came walking in the door. We were watching The Dating Game. He came in, sat down on the couch, said, Tommy, you want to go to the movies, whatever? And all of a sudden, I said, nah. He goes, and he got me left, and my friend James looked at me and goes, why was John Travolta in your living room? And the thing was, because people would they'd use you like, oh my God, like I'm going to be your friend because of that.
I totally can empathize with where you're coming from. Personally, as I said, Karate Kid, big fan. But, I mean, you got to act in some pretty neat films throughout. What is it like working on a film like Face Off? I mean, Face Off has become such a cultural touchstone in terms of action.
Well, see, now, don't make a mistake. If you go to see Face Off and see, I did stunts in Face Off.
Which is awesome.
It was, but the thing that's funny is my uncle Joey directs movies, and I did leads in a movie called Navajo Blues and another one called Hard Vice. Total lead in the movie, but his films work like this. Johnny's movies are $50 million budget.
Oh, totally.
Joey's movies are like, this is your job. You get up, you're the lead. You got your makeup on, you do your part, you break down, you put your tools on, you go build sets. You get done building sets, you go around here like you take care of craft services. You come back around, put your kamikaze movie making to the finest.
I
but
like
great
that
times.
Blue collar attitude. I mean, that's really cool.
It was so great to do. That was a lot more fun and down to earth. Everybody, it was a bond. Like that film crew, you had to become like an absolute crew or just the movie didn't get made.
So, I mean, what you're saying also is, just those big Hollywood productions don't necessarily feel as much as sort of like an on-set family.
They're kind of, exactly right. The on-set filming, when you got to working for next to nothing, you're working at scale plus 10, we call it, which is the least you can work for in SAG. and 10% for your agent, and you do that. But if you love the thing, it's like, I don't know, it was a lot more fun. It was more like making home movies with real cameras, and it was like I work with my family. I got my Uncle Sammy's like doing this, and I got all my family's all around me. So that was like, it was really neat. That was a great experience. It was like shooting like, I don't know, like Christmas movies at home, except for with big cameras.
Really fun home movies.
And improv was great because we didn't have enough money to edit around, so we're just like, all right, just doing this, and you just pick one of them you like. It was kind of fun.
That's awesome. So what are you working on these days? You know, now that we've got all that old stuff out of the way, what can we see you in now? What can we look forward to seeing you in next?
Well, I'll tell you what. The last thing I did was about a year ago, and I'll tell you why. It was a thing called Oy Vey, My Son Is Gay. It was a movie shot up. It's a comedy with a bunch of the guys from Sopranos in it. It's really silly. I'm like a carpenter guy gets in fights with these skinheads. It's completely different than what I'm doing. My goal now is this. It's actually for the people that are watching this. This is for these conventions. I have a vision, and it is to make it a lot more entertaining than it is. So if you can picture this, instead of having it be in these convention halls, I could get a lot of trouble for saying this. I'm a part of a travel business. Basically, it's a part of a travel club. We have 150,000 members. We're like Costco.
Wow.
So we can literally go to, let's say, Princess Cruise, buy the whole entire ship, and give you rooms for $100 for 3 or 4 days. Now, the thing is, all of a sudden, there's this discounted kind of thing. So my deal is this: we're gonna bring everybody together, bring them on trips. You bring the actors. The actors are now completely like, what I want to do is this. You know, there's stages inside those ships. There's like little places where they do it. I say, set up a DVD player, or set up a DVD player, reenact the scenes with the fans, get up there with the real actors, redo them. They can do whatever they want. They're sent sides over the internet, so when they're a club member, they get it. So they get all their stuff. They're all rehearsed. And at the end of the whole day, there's like the Academy Awards, and you see who wins this. And then we go out and play golf. We'll go and eat dinner with them. Be a lot more intimate with them. Because they walk by, and I think, you know what? It's ridiculous. Anybody who doesn't want to do that, like, okay, do something else. Because these fans are here for us all the time. I think there's a lot of politics in this stuff, the way you don't get to see them when you want to see them. And a lot of the stuff is like, it's like a big garage sale, just to me. It's like, okay, all this stuff. These vendors could be fine. Think about it. These guys over here could be doing your makeup. Those people, they're doing the whole thing. They're putting you in wardrobe. They do what they have a passion for doing, then they see it on the film. It's like we all making movies together. I think it's. What do you think?
I think it's a cool idea because, you know, one of the things that you notice about horror films is that the fans and the filmmakers tend to be the ones that are able to get together the most. I mean, and I think that's a really neat sort of community, and that's sort of like a bond amongst all horror fans. And, you know, I think sort of, you know, taking the fans and combining it with the filmmakers is going to be sort of their dream scenario. It's sort of like, it's like fantasy camp for horror film fans.
You know what it is? It's like somebody made a good thing. It's like when Air Jordan did the basketball camp.
Yeah.
So go be in it. For me, like, look, I wanted to meet 2 people, Steven Tyler and Bill Murray. I met Steven Tyler, I met Bill Murray, spent like time with them. If Steven Tyler, there was some sort of club I could join, I get to go and sing Dream On in the boat thing with him, like, we're going to do this and we're going to shoot this. Come on, Tommy, we're going to do this together. Come on, man, let's get some ass. I'd be like so down for that. It's not even funny. And it's like, it's a membership. You're a membership, and it's invitation only. These kids will know they're going like 4 or 5 times a year and do these. And they can put in the request for what actors go, what actors don't, so we keep shifting it around. And it's a great idea. When you get there, it's an experience. It's like going to, you know, like SeaWorld with, you know, actors instead of whales. I don't know. That's what I would want. And, you know, and they can come and talk to us right here and sign us. But like, shit, let's get up. Let's do. They know the lines better than we do. Yeah. I'd love to bow down and go, you did a better job than I did here. Wow, I can't believe it. You know, I'm just saying, but just let them do something. Maybe have some agents rolling around. Maybe we'll find some new stars. Yeah. You know.
That's cool. Do you have a website or Facebook or Twitter?
It's
or
on the way. You can join my regular Facebook thing, which was Tom Fridley or whatever, and get on it because I'll end up releasing this. I need to get some permission. We got to get, of course, always some money together and figure out how we're going to do this and the right crew to do it. But I've got the buying power of 150,000 members to get us great deals on hotels and things that will save so much that it'll allow it to be all inclusive, which is cool. There'll be no more buying pictures and stuff. You get to this, you get that, you get this, it's all a package deal. So there's never that uncomfortable switching money, like, hey, you know, you get to be in the thing, you get to do this, and it's like an all-inclusive thing, part of your deal. You get free food, you get this, and it's all just like, hey, everybody gets that. So there's none of that like switching money like for sale, like, hey, it's an experience. So I'm just thinking, I'm looking at them thinking, man, this is what I'm missing. I'm missing them as much as they're missing me. So it's like, I'd rather be close. I'd love to be in scenes and do that.
That's awesome. You sound like a dude with a vision, and that's really interesting.
I'm not a guy that sits behind a table. It's like, okay, I'm sitting here, but it's like, man, this isn't how I got to the table. Like, let's do what I do.
Yeah,
do it.
That's cool.
If I can help teach, let the director, like Tom MacGuffin, who directs us, let him direct the scenes. Let's put the fucking crew back together. Yeah. Excuse my language, but let's do it.
You can say whatever.
And with the DVD prices now, it's like, shoot. You know what? Shoot it. I mean, so what? If a kid pays, let's say there'll be a limited thing. Let's say it costs them $100 to redo the scene with them. They get it. There can only be maybe 10 people that can do this a day because of the time. But you got 3 different things going on. You got Friday the 13th here. You got Nightmare on Elm Street's over here. You got all that shit going on. But different things, and put it together to where there's at least 4 different choices they got of scenes because those actors are available. Everybody knows the lines. The kids will know theirs. It's like a dream team deal. I mean,
Yeah, that sounds pretty awesome.
I mean, shit. Wouldn't you do it?
I would do it. There you have it.
There you have it.
Thank you so much, Tom, for joining us, and we look forward to seeing what's next for you.
I'm going to work with this, guys, and we'll do the best I can, but be supportive. Everybody rose their hand. Yesterday, there was a bunch of people. They all raised their hand. They wanted to do this. So let's do it. It's the same bigger bang for the buck. You know what I mean?
Do it. Let's do it. You heard it here.
Let's do it. You heard it here. Dave TV.
T-1000 can't stop me. I'm on fire tonight. Magneto can't stop me. I'm on fire tonight. Even Zod can't stop me. I'm on fire tonight. It's tight. Don't even try to bite the side of style. Mr. Spock can't stop me. I'm on fire tonight. The Wrath of Khan can't stop me. I'm on fire tonight. The Borg can't stop me. I'm on fire tonight. Because I've got space game and it feels